What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Coffee Bar Podcast. I am your host, Garrett, and this is...
Jesse, the greatest.
The greatest
the
of
one
all time?
only, the man, the myth, the legend.
What's the
the
other
actual
one?
factual.
That's it. That's why I couldn't remember the other day.
Episode number, who knows? We're just rolling with it.
Yeah, I think lucky number
Was it
7. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think we'd get it past 2, maybe 3. Didn't think we had enough in it. Yeah. Hard week this week. Only Tuesday.
Only Tuesday.
Not looking forward to the rest of it, if I'm being honest.
But who cares about Tuesday? Because we got a guest.
It's true. We do have a guest. Excited about this one. This is one of the original guests that we wanted to bring on. That I wanted to bring on. Honestly, didn't think it was going to happen. Because it was going to take either a lot of shots of tequila or like a strong begging. But we have Jim, the bartender. The greatest ever to do it in the world.
You are far too kind with all that.
You know? Told me everything I know. You're the man.
We originally planned to have him make us some drinks, but it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Jim's got to drive pretty far. Maybe part 2, we come down to your place, and then you show us all the skills.
You gotta do one on set. Take it somewhere on set. We'll go sit at a bar somewhere.
Let's do it. I'm sure we could probably do
A dirty
spirits.
bar. A really dirty bar.
We're the only ones I go to.
It's very true. It's very true. I don't know from experience, actually. I do.
Support your local dive bar.
Oh, God. A lot of support. They need to start supporting us. Yeah.
One day you tell the story without any names about when I took you to that one spot with a dude talking about the shotgun for an entire evening. You can have fun with that one. Just don't use names.
Yeah, I won't use names. I won't talk about that on air either. That was... Yeah, so... I mean, most of everybody, you guys know me. I'm a pretty sheltered person. Came from a little family in the county.
Not true. Fucking Leos.
Didn't know a lot about the city. And I go out one night drinking with Jimbo, and I was shook, as the youth say, to my core. I looked at Jim, and I honestly didn't know if it was reality. The story, like the words that was coming out of this guy's mouth, I was just like,
"What year is it?"
I honestly thought I didn't know.
Last year or 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago. I remember it was like, you were still working at Dempsey's.
That was your mindset. You were asking, you didn't know
what year was. Dude, I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't want to be there anymore. I think Jim saw, I think I went pale.
You did kind of a little bit.
The guy scared me. Again, he was just casually talking to me like if I had known him for like 20 years, except for Jim had known him for 20 years. And I was just like an innocent bystander in the whole conversation.
It's a good way to word it.
But he was like talking to me. And I'm like, I don't really want to be here any longer. Can we just do this one shot, aka the fourth beer, and just leave? Yeah. I'll tell you guys the details about that story later. That was a crazy one. Honestly, I don't even remember names. I don't even remember what he looked like. I just remember the words coming out and the fear. It was not fun. Yeah. Yeah, so obviously I know Jim from bartending. I've known Jim for 5 years.
God, has it been that long?
I know you just as long as I know Sean.
Wow.
When I was started serving tables at Dempsey's. Met you.
Yeah, that's 5 years.
I was just a little tyke. Trying to work my way in there. Yeah.
You did just fine with that.
I didn't do too bad. But, yeah, so Jim is called career bartender. You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you've been everywhere. Done it all. Had some good times. Had some bad times.
I wish I remembered more of them.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That's also a downfall to bartending. You spend a lot of time on both sides of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, you don't bartend anymore.
Nope.
But it's not a bad thing. You're enjoying a different side of life. Traveling a lot more. It's a nice
change.
Yeah.
It's not a permanent, but it's a nice change.
Yeah, you know, you're enjoying other things in life that you didn't have.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth there.
Like that nice little pickup truck you had out front.
Yeah, that was good. Still good.
And other than that, you're trying to think the big things. I'm trying not to point at the obvious one in the room, but
please do.
Huge fly fisherman.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that.
I don't know anybody fishes more. Like,
I could introduce you to a few people.
I will. I don't know many. And I mean, you were out there today. You went fishing this morning, and you're like, "What not check over?"
That's the best.
You're like, I just got out of the river. I'm like, dude, spend all day there. I don't care if you get here at nighttime. It doesn't matter to me. But and I would say, other than being a really good friend, good bartender, and somebody I've known for a while, he has been a pillar in my wisdom and advice.
Oh, there's your first mistake.
Database that I've had for people. Fun fact: never seen the movie Cocktail, and Jim started referring to me as a jet set bartender, and I didn't know what that was. They made me watch Bartender, and Cocktail, and it turns out I am Tom Cruise when he flies away to that nice island and enjoys himself some sun, because Jim said anytime you have a day that you can get away from yourself, that's what you do. That's exactly what I did. But yeah, Jesse doesn't know that much. Jesse met Jim one time at Daily Grind at Fells Point, and he's like, that's the guy. That is the guy.
I'd be curious to hear the stories you heard previous.
None, actually.
I tried not to keep. I wanted to have you on the podcast, so like, it's been different because before last, not last podcast, but two podcasts ago, Jesse's known everybody we brought on the show, right? So we both have known them, so we know enough that the stories aren't as good because they've heard all the big stories, but they haven't heard all the fun stuff. So I try to keep some of that secretive so we can talk about it on.
So I guess
episode.
Small disclaimer: I have friends. Everyone who's seen Garrett has brought on, but I have friends. And if you're out there and want to come on, just reach out.
We want to have you on. And believe me, we know it may be weird. We're recording in my house, but
yeah.
Oh, it's a professional little setup you got here.
It's pretty good. You know what I mean?
Way down to the AstroTurf.
The AstroTurf. I mean, it's like we're on a field. It's like a professional press conference.
It's like we simulate golf in this room, man. A little bit.
It's pastime. It's here. Rip. But no, we'll have beer of your choice, liquor of your choice, and coffee, probably of our choice, because
either or both.
Fiends. Either or both. Yeah, it's a nice mix. So I've already kind of talked about how we met. I mean, I don't know. You were like the guy I had to look up to, because bartending down at Dempsey's, dude, I would have ran away real quick, honestly, if you weren't there. It would have been
fine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I met my wife there, but other than that, honestly, not that great. I'm at work. I'm at work. Not my wife. My wife is great.
Glad I get to go home after this.
Is anybody else looking for a roommate? Yeah. Jim's not a big baseball fan.
Not at all.
Worked at Dempsey's and hated all the games. Hated all the fans coming in there hooting and hollering, but at the same time, secretly loved when the Orioles lost, because he got to point and make fun of them for being dumb and liking sports.
Never cared one way or the other. I just want them to spend money.
Spend it all. We had some good times. Good, nice.
It was wholesome fun in that place.
It was. Big. Honestly, I got a huge shout out to Leroy.
I haven't seen him in too long.
I saw Leroy roughly probably right before COVID started. And he's doing good. I know he's liking what he does now. You know, I know he's super proud of his son. His son does IT for Southwest.
No, his son's a good dude.
And he just flies around. And the weird thing is I actually knew his son before I worked at Dempsey's. I played kickball with him 2 years prior to that, like for 2 years. And then that's how I don't know, I guess I got laid off. And me and Alex were like looking for jobs. And Grant was like, can you guys pass drug tests? And even that was like loose. It was because I'm not going to name any names, but if one of us couldn't pass a drug test, then one of us were supposed to go get this drink and drink it and then come show up for the thing. Again, not naming any names. So we enjoyed that whole process, because that was pretty much, have you guys ever served? I want to be a bar back or a food runner. That's what I applied. That's what we both applied for. And we went in there like because we interviewed at the same time, laughing, joking, and Leroy was like, what are you guys applying for? So you guys are going to be servers 100%. And dude,
he was good at his job.
Yeah, me and Alex ran amok and we loved it. And definitely credit to Leroy for hiring us. It's a good time. And then I met Jimbo and got yoked up behind the bar second year. Learned everything I know about what to say, what not to say. Not to sing songs to Jim in the middle of a rush because he'll tell me it's the dumbest song he's ever played.
I would probably said it even if it wasn't a rush.
What was it? God, what was it? It was.
I don't even remember that, but
I think it was "Lump" by is that band We Are the Presidents.
Oh yeah, Presidents of the United States.
Yeah, that's it. Lump.
Yeah, because that'll get stuck in my head for the next
Jim,
3 days.
Screamed at me.
How many times have you heard me scream?
Twice. That time, and the one time you and me got into like a really big argument behind the bar, and I don't even remember what it was about, but it was something, and it was funny because we all laughed about it like the next day that we
I'm sure.
got into an argument.
Because I don't remember any of it, so
No, it was good. How did you? Well, not say how did you get into bartending? I kind of know the story, but like, what got you into it?
Money. That's it.
Yeah.
Money. I started dating a girl who wasn't working. I was doing landscaping.
Really?
She got a job waiting tables. She would work a Friday night. I'd drop her off and pick her up. Well, maybe not drop her off, but I would go and meet her after she was done. She would work 6 hours on a Friday night and make $450. I would work 50 hours a week digging ditches in the sun and make $420. And I said, this is the wrong line of work for me. So I went to go and pretend to be a bartender.
Yikes.
Fake it till you made it.
Yeah, I went and took 2 weeks of classes because I didn't drink a drop and I knew nothing about nothing. And then they put me in it was like a job placement thing. So they sent me up at this blues bar and I went down there and walked in the door. And there was supposedly, the story I got from the guy that hired me, there were supposed to be like 6 guys showing up on whatever Thursday it was. And I was supposed to show up on Friday. Well, when the owner made the phone calls, he got his numbers mixed matched. I ended up showing up on Thursday and was the only one to show up. And the guy hired me. He's like, yeah, you want to start Monday? I said, sure. So the owner comes down. And he was like, did you like any of those guys? He was like, none of them showed up. Just this one guy, Jim, and I hired him. He's like, all right. He's supposed to come tomorrow. He's like, he showed up today and I hired him. And then 6 or 7 years went by and I was still working in that place.
Wow.
That turned into home for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm still in the city. If that bar wouldn't have happened, I'd have never stayed in the city.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's a different kind of life.
Yeah, it was fun.
Was it like upscale or?
Oh God, no.
When we say blues bar, I think like.
I
was gonna say he has no idea. I don't even think it was open when
No, it closed in like 06 or 07, I think.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the movie Black Snake Moan?
No, can't say that.
He's younger than I am.
Well, it was relatively recent. It had I don't know, the girl and the guy from the I don't know.
Shank, can we get a fact check on that?
It was very, very good.
Black Snake Moan.
For what the soundtrack was phenomenal. So if nothing else, the soundtrack was really good.
What was it?
Black Snake Moan. It was one of the 2 guys from Pulp Fiction. Black dude, says fuck all the time.
Samuel Jackson?
That guy. It was him. He was a blues player. Yeah, and him, and then what's her face? Wednesday. Yeah, I was gonna say Wednesday Addams, but yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the soundtrack was really good. But no, the bar he goes to play, it's called the Bucket of Blood, and it's a dirty, dingy blues bar, and that's kind of what attracted me to that place. It was a plywood bar top. They had pews in the back of this place, which is where they put them there because the one owner used to videotape all the acts because there was music 7 nights a week, 2 to 5 or so acts a day. And he would put the benches in there, the blues pews, as he called them, because that's where they stored all the beer because they had no room. And he wanted people not to be dancing or in the way when he was recording the band playing. And yeah, it was... I think I made it 3 weeks before I had my first shot of whiskey in there. And within 5 or 6 months... Yeah, well, I didn't drink a drop previous. So within about 5 months, she was ordering me my own handle of Jim Beam. That was... the house wine.
The house wine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Das for dinner. Shout out Das Beer Hall. Supplying all the needs you need, especially during quarantine. We went up there and Jim saw somebody I hadn't seen in a couple of years. And the guy was like, oh, you want some of the house wine? Like, you went to a house wine? And he came over to me and said that because I was going to Miller High Life Pony that they have with the shot of Amaretto. I ordered 2 and they didn't have any, which is heartbreaking. And I asked Jim, like, you want anything? I said, oh, no, I'm not drinking. He just asked me if I want some of the house wine. I'm like, I didn't even know they serve wine here. He's like, and then he told me a story. I was like, oh, see?
Yeah.
You don't get that kind of knowledge on the outside looking in. You really don't.
You like the musical aspect?
That turned into...
It was annoying.
No, it turned into not the right word to use, but like institutionalized. Like I started there and it was just like, yeah, whatever, it's blues music. And then after a while I got to be like, all right, this is kind of getting old. I've heard Mustang Sally 3 times a day for the last year and a half. And then it got to the point where like, that's bar music to me. If it's not some kind of blues or, you know, like swing jazz or Zydeco or something like that, because that's what a lot of it was in there. And that place probably had some of the best music I will ever see in my life, just because those guys were in there and they loved it. But yeah, no, that was a dirty, dingy hole, and it was home for a long time.
Yeah, and then after that, you went on to kind of like open up, help run a bar.
Well, that place closed. I ended up in Towson for a while, and I was also in another place in Fells, and the Towson place didn't go the way I wanted it. And then there was another place in Fells. I bounced through a few of them, and I ended up at bar for a long time. Then
bar was closed.
Yeah. Bar?
Bar. That's
bar
the one.
bar.
Yeah.
The bar bar.
The bar bar.
2 liters bar.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, bar. Yeah.
In the pictures on Google, because I was like, we should meet here, and they saw it, and they were like,
For people that can't make sense of this, it's a bar that's just called bar, because that's all it is.
There's a black and white sign out front above the door that says bar.
Yep.
It got bar, I believe, because when they opened Bar Baltimore, people were saying they're going to bar. They meant Bar Baltimore. And locals were like, no, man, bar. Oh, bar. And that's kind of how that kind of stuck. I think it probably was way before that, but that's the story I was told.
Yeah, so we went on it like I don't know, a bar crawl, I guess. March.
You took him into bar?
No,
We tried to.
I wanted to start there because we all parked. We got Poppy's Tacos, and then we were walking down. I was like, hey, let's hit this corner bar right here. Let's start here. That's always the best place to start, because I know we can drink a couple beers, pretty cheap, and then we can go out into the nicer bars, which I don't mind staying in the smaller, dingier bars. But I think honestly, because I drank a lot with you in Post Point, that's why I have that emotion. But
I'm sorry.
they were closed.
And you're welcome.
So I think I texted you. I was like, hey, is bar closed? And you said, no, I think the owner has the flu or something.
Yeah.
So they just shut it down for 2 weeks. And this
she ended up getting really sick, and she died not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah, some kind of cancer, I think, finally got her. Yeah.
That sucks. It was probably around, honestly, the same time. Like it
might have been
that time. Damn.
The daughter's taking it over,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't know what she wants to do with it yet, and I don't know how long it's going to take before she opens it up or does anything with it.
I wonder if she's going to sell it.
You should be the hero. Go back.
I honestly tried to buy it before I bought my house. I talked to the woman that owned it a couple of times. We sat down and talked numbers, and that was going to be, I was going to buy it because it was 3 stories and it had a garage. So my thought was, garage would be a small kitchen. 2nd story would be seating. 3rd story would be my home. And then I could just run the whole show from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the numbers she was talking were just out of my realm of understanding. By the time I would have paid her off the, $500,000 for the building, the property, the license, whatever it was, then it's like new building codes and all kinds of stuff. I mean, and then it's another $1 million for that.
It's hard to fathom that kind of, okay, I'll pay that. Because like I was just talking to you earlier about that, about my ideas that I don't want to talk to anybody else. Everybody else knows. But like the building that I like right down the street, they're asking like $950,000, and that's no license because it wasn't a bar before.
Mm-hmm.
No renovations. So I'm like $1.5 million in. I'm like,
before you even start,
I can't comprehend. Like I don't have that dough sitting around. You know what I mean?
Need some investors.
Come on.
Yeah, we need like some backers and stuff like that, like to get a local bar stood up. I just don't think Perry Hall is a place for it. I don't think. I mean, I think Looney's has a following because like Looney's from Bel Air, and then people have moved down. So like I think
Looney started in Canton. The following went from Canton to Bel Air.
Well, I feel like the older people, like the people that moved out to the county that didn't go all the way up to Bel Air, like dropped down. But I would imagine that's probably where the older people started when they were younger in Looney's and Canton. I've only been there like twice. I never really liked the vibe. I
went there a handful of times, and most of my buddies I went there with really, really liked it, but it wasn't my thing, especially when they were gone, because they walked in with the standard comb down, flip up sandals and cut off jeans, and I rolled in there with 2-foot dreadlocks and kind of mangy looking at all these well-to-do people, and I just didn't fit that crowd.
Yeah.
Hence the dirty blues bar.
Dreads.
I need to do some more
tell Jesse
Baltimore bar exploring.
Yeah, I think
I can only count on one hand.
I think we should go to the the low key basement dwelling bars that I've
the good ones
partaken in. Yeah, I mean I thoroughly enjoy every night we've gone out and done that.
So my experience lies near UMBC. It's like just trivia bars because a bunch of old people live in Catonsville. Yeah. And there's this like dingy Korean bar I used to go to a lot.
Remember that place you were talking about when you went for your 21st birthday? And you said it was just like a shithole, right? And you got taken out.
Yeah, Main Street, Westminster, right. Down under. It's below a brewery called Johansson's.
Okay. So that
sounds perfect.
So then think of that, but just think about like in the middle of like nice old Fells Point. And it's like literally, I think, so the one, I'm trying to pick out like what my favorite would be. I mean, obviously my favorite Spirits. Like, I don't know why. I think maybe because we spent so many nights there. But like that place, they literally have remember like the Pepsi coolers you would go to like a gas station? They had all the bottles in, you would grab one out of the ice.
Tub o' fun. For
$1, you get the bartender, he picks out a beer for you. And if you pick it off like the board, which is like 30 beers, you have to pay for the beer still or whatever. I think it's $2. But you get a shot of whatever you want. $2. I mean, I'm risking it. Plus, anything he's pulling out of there, I would say 50% I'm going to like it. The other 50% it's going to like. I mean, he has
a couple of there that were real rough.
Like, no, he had like King. What was it, King Cobra? Dude, it was Genesee
Cream.
He had all of them.
Yeah, he had the whole Genesee line. Yeah. It's still in there. I mean, that Tub of Fun's still there.
Yeah, and again, 50% I would like what he pulled out. Other 50% I'd be like, ugh. I wouldn't play it till I got completely hammered into it, so it wouldn't matter.
A lot of people did.
I know.
You watched it. Yeah.
I've only been to Dog Watch.
Dog Watch.
Yeah, Dog Watch. I've been to Dog Watch. I've been to Rockwell. Been to the place we got tacos, Poppy's. I've been to that place where I was really drunk and left my credit card and I had to go back and or Jason went and got it the next day.
I think it was Rodo's.
No, I think is it like Alexander's?
Oh, Alexander's.
Yeah, it's Alexander's.
I'm pretty sure they went in there though. I've been to
probably.
I think I've been in every bar up and down Fells Strip.
I mean, that's about it.
I made me and Shan went into what is that? Black Penny? What is it?
Penny Black.
Penny Black. That's it. Yeah, we made like out of the way step to go get a beer there because we had never been.
It's not a bad little spot to get a beer and hang out and relax.
Yeah. Was that place you said they had beers really cheap and they didn't, and we were pissed, and we were there for like 10 minutes, like Lone Star or something like that.
That was in Fed Hill. 1 Star. They have we went to Fed Hill for after a work function, and they're supposed to have the champagne bottles of Miller High Life for like $5 or $10. I mean, like,
yeah, that would be perfect.
I went in and it was like, I don't know, I think it was a Friday night. Like, we only do them like Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm like, I was pissed.
Yeah, I would be too.
I mean, but I was like, dude, a champagne bottle of Miller High Life, dude, it cannot get much better.
Yeah, and this is when we sent you off to buy beer. Yeah. So you like bought something else and came upstairs, and everyone just wanted to go home.
Yeah, everybody had already ordered Ubers, and I would have been pissed if I would have ordered like 5 champagne bottles. I was drinking them.
Hey, I was staying there until they were gone. Put these on ice. I'll be here all night.
Fun fact: it was like 1:30 though. It was close to last call. But
drink quick
is what it is. Yeah, pretty much. Nah,
and it's because it was after a work function, so we were all in like suits and
yeah, I mean, we were.
Everyone was reason to get liquored up and act like a fool. You're dressed nice.
We went to Banditos and we're there for like 6 drinks. I mean, we were there for we were there for a while, like a while. It was right next to or what used to be Mad River. I don't know if you like the big.
I think I was in there once, maybe twice.
I was in there twice. One time, it took me 30 minutes to get to the back of the bar.
It
took me 30 minutes to get back out. I'm like, nah, never again. But then I did go in there because they had like dollar Yinglings after a football game. It was like me, Shan, my buddy Dan, and we were just like chugging. It was not good. It was bad news. Not fun. It was after a football game. Like we'd watched a football game with somebody. Then we went and got beers at Mad River. It was like the top right. They had like beer pong going down. You remember that? Alex was there. It might have been. It might have been a baseball game, honestly.
Dan was there too, and Alex.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a good time. I definitely thoroughly always enjoy that. I don't know. So what made you stay as a bartender for so long? Like
laziness.
Became
easy and it was well paid and
it gets the job done.
Yeah.
What else Did you want
Gives
to?
what you want.
That's the thing. I never wanted to do anything.
You just were.
There was
cool with it.
nothing I ever really like. I wasn't one of those kids in school. It's like, oh, when I grow up, I want to do this. When I grow up, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I never had that. I never had any kind of. The last thing I remember saying when I was a kid that I wanted to do was, I wanted to be an entomologist when I was in like 3rd grade.
What is that?
Basically like a marine biologist.
Okay.
Only they study bugs.
Oh. Okay.
So that was
That
kind
honestly
of
makes a lot of sense.
like,
I'm just saying, just because I know you very well and
that was something I was into.
yeah. I'll have to show you his Instagram after this, but it's like some of the flies that he ties. First of all, they're this big, but in Instagram they're huge and they're very detailed. I mean, because Instagram doesn't do it justice because they look like they're the size of like this coffee mug, right? Like they look like they're really big, but they're literally like a quarter to a half of an inch under a magnifying glass. He sits there and ties them with. They're like, and
I'm not a magnifying glass yet. I still got my own 2 eyes.
oh, well,
Soon,
sorry.
that'll be coming soon enough. I'm getting there.
No, I'm putting it. Yeah, I'm putting you ahead of the horse here. I don't want you to sound too old on documented
Yeah,
material.
it's fine. I'm old. I'm okay with it. I was old when I was young.
Nah, I'm starting to feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not ideal. So other than bartending, what was? I mean, I know your answer is going to be. What was your favorite job?
Other than bartending, probably the coolest job I had was working at Bertucci's many years ago, because it was all a bunch of basically friends that worked the place, and we knew all the managers, so there was a whole lot of partying and shenanigans that went on. And between the lunch and dinner rush, like the management and some of the employees would be rappelling off the top of the restaurants while the other half of the staff was playing wiffle ball and doing other things that made the day go by quicker.
So one of my top 5 favorite stories from you, because I have a lot, with you and from you, is the one where your buddy walked out in the middle of shift.
Oh, the on the line with the pizza.
Have you ever worked in a restaurant or anything?
No.
Okay.
But I know how it works.
Save yourself. Don't do it.
It's just, I mean, he's way ahead of the curve. He's got a great job now.
I actually have friends that work
Yeah.
in restaurants, so I can come over for like the post-closing
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Those are the
but-
best.
Yeah, honestly, it's the best thing to do. Just don't even work in a restaurant. Just
Make friends with people.
Yeah, get in the tail end. It's like, it's closing time. I'll meet you guys because you know it's going to be lit. That'd be great. No, but so obviously you have a rush and you have a bunch of tickets come in, and most of the time it's just like ticket tape, just like long, all put up, and then you start right to left. And I'll let you tell. It's your story, and I think it'll be fun.
It wasn't my story. It was my buddy. Him and the server got into it a little bit, and he had enough. So her tickets were coming out, and he was just crumpling them up, throwing them on the floor, crumpling them up, throwing them on the floor, crumpling them up, throwing them on the floor. And then other tickets were coming, he's just crumpling them up, throwing them on the floor. And finally, he's like, "I'm out." He walked off the line, went back, went in the thing, changed his clothes, walked out the back door, and he went and sat at the window outside, and he watched in the window while they came over, and he's doing because he tells a better story than I do, and he's acting this out. He's like, the manager's there, the server's there, they're wondering all, because there's like 30 some tickets that never got made. Now there's 30 tables of people wanting their food, and he's just outside giggling and laughing as they're all just losing their mind. If you've never met my buddy, I'll have to make sure you meet him because he tells a good story.
That's like the emotion that all, I'm sure, line cooks want.
Oh, yeah.
Because, dude,
He's a legend then. The one that actually do it.
The one that actually did it. He took a page right out of Waiting and was just like, this is happening.
And if you've never seen that movie, watch that
another one.
movie. It's hilarious because it's
funny.
100% true.
And it's like, I feel like it's actors before their time, like Dane Cook, and then the guy that plays in Accepted. Like, it's like everybody before their peak.
Yeah.
And dude, it's funny.
It was accurate all the way around.
I do love that one. Best piece of advice you ever gotten? Put you on the spot.
I mean, I've gotten so much from so many good places.
Yeah. It's very true.
I've never taken it, but invest in yourself.
Yeah.
I just roll around and see what happens. I've never really went that route, but that's something I would probably say if I was going to give somebody advice, that would be the first one I'd give them.
Yeah. I'd say Jim was a crucial person in the point from where I started IT, because my decision to go into IT was made in his living room. I remember getting like my phone call about the police academy, and I was like on the fence. And I remember
that wasn't you.
Like, me and Sean were still really early in our relationship, so we weren't talking about futuristic plans yet, I don't think. Like I ran it by her, and she's like, whatever you want to do. But I don't think she was ever going to be like very direct in telling me like this is what I think would be best for us or for our future. And I feel like Jim would always be like very straightforward and honest, even if like it was something I didn't want to hear, or even if something you didn't want to tell me. Like if you really thought I would have been a great police officer, and that's what I should do. That's what you felt. You would have told me that, even though what you would have been good at it. You would have hated to hear it.
You would have been good at it because you'd be good at whatever it is you want to put your mind to.
I don't want to start blushing, and everybody
it's
like
a fact. I gotta
walk out that door soon. My head's gonna get so big.
Yeah, that's not unusual either. But you'd have been good at it, but that's not you. Like that wasn't your thing.
I always knock them down, so we gotta have someone to pump them up.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, give me 5 minutes. I'll take them right back down a peg.
As you can tell, there's no liquor on this table. That would already be happening. I say it. There would be a lot more statements being thrown around for sure. No, I mean I feel like I've gotten really good advice from you, and working in a bar, the advice comes a little edgier. I think it's not clean cut. Your dad telling you this is what you should do for the rest of your life. So
it's a different world.
It comes in different times when you feel like kind of like your world's crumbling down. So I think that I've gotten some good advice from you over the years.
I feel so loved.
You should. You got friends. You got friends in little places. Even though you're not a country guy.
Better.
Yeah, that's very true. I think Shannon threw some good questions in here. I'm seeing some.
Oh, there's questions?
Yeah, seeing some good ones.
Is there a text message conversation going on or something?
No. Shannon she likes like
an outline.
Yeah, Shannon likes to do outlines.
So you're the organized one of the bunch.
Of course. And we don't want to be scripted, but we like to, because I know so much about you. So like, what am I going to ask you? What am I going to ask you?
That's why I was leaving it up to you.
Exactly, right? So it's like, and then I don't know if Jesse wants to get like too like detailed, because like I don't know how far I can push Jim. I don't know yet, So it's like,
say whatever you want. There's nothing you're gonna say or ask that's gonna offend me. I don't care what it is. You can try your best, but it ain't.
Nah, honestly, I've really never seen you get offended or upset too often.
You've only seen me yell once or twice
at me.
I don't think I actually yelled at you. I may have barked a little bit, but I didn't yell at you.
It was a stern.
I yelled at that. I yelled
voice.
At the group at that one time with the reiterate thing that you took such a comic relief to.
What was it?
You said so. You were telling somebody some story about when I was yelling at the pile of them, and you said, "I've never heard anybody yell the word reiterate before."
Reiterate.
I don't want to use names, but there was 2 coworkers that were less than. How can I word that without sounding completely like an asshole? They were less than productive in comparison to the rest of the group.
Oh yeah.
And one of them decided to catch me at a not great time and say things that she probably shouldn't have. And I reminded her that I yelled at her before this. I yelled at her a year before about this. It was interesting.
Yeah. I've gotten many arguments with people behind the bar, but not really Jim.
Because you're always right.
Well, again. Maybe that's why I get along with Jim so well. It's very easygoing.
You're always right.
Until you're not.
Until I'm not. And then everything hits the fan.
I like him.
Yeah. Yep. Other than Baltimore, I know you'd like to go somewhere a little more quieter, but where else would you like to live if you could live anywhere?
Oh, I couldn't. I've not seen half the places in the world that I want to see yet, so I couldn't make a decision.
Somewhere around the world, though? You think if you had the opportunity?
Yeah, I'd like to go stay in a few different places.
Yeah.
I mean, New Zealand's always sounds cool. Australia sounds cool. Any of the like the small islands sound pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing Ireland.
Yeah.
Somewhere way up north where I can see the Northern Lights for a season or 2. That'd be kind of cool.
A friend of ours was talking about, or a friend of a friend's, they had their honeymoon there in Iceland. I think somewhere up there. And like the Northern Lights were never, like it was like in the past 25 years, they were never as strong as they were that night.
Oh, good for them.
And they were like, it was insane. It was like movie quality.
Yeah,
like it was crazy.
Out of everything in the world, there's only 2 things I really want to see, and that's the old school redwoods like way
Oh, that's cool.
northern,
Yeah, yeah.
and the Northern Lights.
I always
Those are
wanna
two things that
Go to
I.
that tree that has a hole in it. You can drive through. That's in there, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
There's a couple of them. Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm trying to fathom how a tree could be that wide.
Because it's like
cut out and
600 years old or something. I mean, it's been there forever and ever and ever.
That's a relatively young one because they don't talk about where the really old ones actually are. As people just go cut them down and cut them down.
Very true. People,
Probably right. Yeah.
humanity sucks.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate, to say the least. The I would like to use the Ireland for me, right? Because I think that even though I'm not Irish, I found that out. We did a.
I would highly disagree with that visually, but I'll play along with
wouldn't
it.
you? I am.
well, I'm also a very small percentage, surprisingly.
Really, I'm
More
not.
English than Irish.
They said I'm not. No, they said I'm not at all. I don't think.
A little bit.
Was it? I thought I was like. I thought I was. I was like English.
You Nordic or something?
No, from like the UK.
Yeah.
The UK, Welsh, and African.
Well, we all are,
Like no, like
according to science.
I'm like
That's what they.
I'm like
think.
6% West African. So it was astonishing to me because I've always been told I was German and Irish, which makes sense because of my name at birth was my last name was Heilman, which is super German. Yeah, and everything else about me is Irish. So it just made sense, but it's lied to, and obviously everybody else above me was lied to. It's been a lie going on for generations.
I mean, my last name's Italian, but do I look Italian?
I don't know, but your brother could pass as Italian.
Okay,
So
yes, that's true.
So it's like they just
I'm
skipped
the odd
you.
one out.
Yeah.
Milkman.
You're 100% USPS.
Oh yes, yeah, we don't have milkman anymore.
That's true.
Mailman gets
you're
all
definitely the
the credit
mailman. Definitely, yeah. That was prior to Amazon too.
That's what the future kids are going to be saying. Amazon.
The Amazon guy is going to be looking around like, yeah, it might have been me. I'm trying to think the last time we bartended together. I was trying to think if it was, I don't think it was at Dempsey's. I think it was at Spirits.
It might have been. That was a good night.
Yeah. I want to say it might have even been the Dempsey's reunion.
That's the only time we actually tended bar together at Spirits.
Yeah.
Previous to that, it was just kind of you working and me hanging out or vice versa.
Yeah, that's a one-man bar.
Yeah.
That bar is no wider than this room. Like longer. Like it carries 10 stools, 12 stools.
Yeah, maybe 10 or 12, not
and
many.
2 tables and a pool table.
That's a
And even the
spot.
pool table doesn't have enough room. No, it's good. And the tacos are good. I mean, I don't know if they still are.
They're different, but I've heard they're still good.
Yeah. Well, like the store he bought all the meat stuff from was not open anymore.
That kind of is kind of illegal a little bit. It's like he really wasn't doing that in the proper way, and they couldn't keep doing it that way, so they had to then revamp things a little bit. So
I imagine you can't just take $60 out of a drawer before your shift, walk down to the corner store and buy a bunch of taco meat and shells.
I mean, you could. I've worked at some bars where they would give me $100 out the drawer and say, go to the liquor store and come back with booze and give me the hand cart, but that's not technically legal.
That makes sense. Honestly, I'm sure there's a lot more rules and regulations to the liquor board.
Oh yeah,
you have. That's one thing that would be like a big thing if I ever owned a bar. Would be all like the hoops you gotta jump through.
It's never ending.
Yeah,
never. And as soon as you figure them out, there's 20 more they throw on every day.
That's insane. I couldn't do it. Could not do it. I'm already hating that thought process. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably like building a house. Like your codes
it's all
from
the
5
same.
years ago are no longer good now.
Yeah,
would make sense.
That was the thing about Bar when I was talking to what's her face about buying that place. She was grandfathered in from 30 years ago. So if I were to take that place over and her thing was, I'll hold the knot and just you pay me off. And by the time I paid her off that, $500,000 or 400, whatever it was, then it's a new business in my name. Her name comes off of it. Well, now, okay, it took me 20 years to pay off that $1 million, whatever it was. And now I've got to take a loan out to bring it up to code, to bring it up to speed, to bring everything, up to date, which I'd have been stuck in Fells Point. I'd have been married to that building for the remainder of my life by the time I got it all paid off and done, to where I could see some kind of profit out of it. And I just couldn't sign up for that.
You're investing a lot more than money.
Yeah, it's more that's beyond money.
Yeah. And it's not opening any other business. I think the restaurant bar industry is
it's your life.
Yeah.
It's you're married to that place.
That's
It's
a
like
lot
you
of
never
emotion.
leave it. You're there. Yeah. It's like you're making a home for the public. I mean, that's kind of what it is.
That's really it. I mean, it's like the place where everybody wants to come in and feel welcome, for sure. And the other thing that I feel about bartending is, I know I literally just said this to Jesse, but the feeling of if you've never worked in the service industry, then that's also a flaw. Like, because if you work in the service industry, you have a compassion for the people that work in the service industry, and you know, because they get dogged, they get treated poorly. It's a constant.
So I worked in a weird service industry, not an illegal or lewd or sexual.
This could go a lot of different ways.
It's going to be a lot more boring than you think it is. I used to work in a card store for like Magic cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards. And so that's a retail job, but usually you're dealing with weird people that won't complain or like
different social aspects.
Like, so it's not like a real retail job. Like, I'm not getting yelled at nearly as much as like someone who works at Kohl's is.
Yeah, I guess that's like good with me is I've had like 14, 15 jobs.
Have you really?
I've had a lot.
Wow.
I've done it all. I've worked at gas stations. I've worked at retail stores. I've worked in corporate jobs, non-corporate jobs, government jobs. I've done a lot.
Wow.
And it's nothing quite like a bar or a restaurant, because like all the arguments I had with these people, like at the end of the day, the next day when the shift started, like we all knew we had to work together to get it going in the right direction. So it kind of like sucked at the same. It was like a family, but at the same time, it was like your brothers and sisters.
The bar, or are you talking about the previous places?
Bar.
Well, that's just it. It's like after a while of working there, when you actually start getting into arguments with people, you've gotten to a point where it's like you're kind of like some dysfunctional little family where you know you're going to have to see him tomorrow, where you would call your brother or your sister some of the most hard things in the world, and tomorrow you're just like, yeah, whatever. And you just roll on past it. You know, it's just what it is.
Yeah, that's
that's what I always kind of felt like it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a brother and sister argument, which I didn't have because I'm an only child.
Yeah.
Bar gave you that.
And Bar gave me that. Bar gave me my siblings. That's it. That's what they did. No.
Hey, that's reffing soccer. I can kind of relate, I guess.
That's
Parents
similar.
can be assholes.
No, for sure. Like, you're constantly getting bagged on. Like, you're doing your job, and, you know what I mean? Like, your job's pretty straightforward, right? Like, you're just supposed to tell you what's wrong and what's right. And
and you got to kind of, like, stand up for whoever you're reffing with. Because, like, if the parents are badgering on your line ref, you know, even if they're making wrong calls, you still got to stand up for them.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that their opinion is what's right. And that's kind of what happens in the restaurant industry. Like, the customer's always right. The parents are always right in reffing.
And then your customers do crazy shit.
Yeah, exactly. And the customers are dumb. And
I want to tell one story where I was reffing U6. So this is like easy $20. You know, 6-year-olds just mob the ball and run around.
they can't even, like, they don't even understand the sport.
But the parents haven't been, most of them, you know, if it's their first kid, they haven't been in this sort of environment anymore. So they get like really into it or like stuff like that. They're into it more than the kids. Like a lot of them are trying to live through their kids playing soccer. But anyways, there's a 6-year-old playing soccer and stuff. And these two dads start talking shit to each other. The one like starts talking shit about his wife, calling her a slut and stuff. And next thing I know, they're fist fighting on the field at a 6-year-old soccer game, and the police are called. And
and that's what I have to look forward to.
And that happens in restaurants and bars
absolutely.
too.
All the time. All the time. I remember, I'm not going to name names.
Those are the fun days.
I'm not going to name names, but I remember opening up for a morning shift. I want to say you were working. And
me?
I think so. If not, it was maybe me and Leroy. But I thought you were working bar, and I think I was running service, but I'm not sure. So there was a server and a hostess that got into an argument like the day before, and it was something about not seating in her area, blah, blah, blah. So that next morning, we all opened, which everybody's miserable anyway, because we all went out and drank, and it was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock when we got home, wake up 8 o'clock, we're all kind of hungover coming into work. It sucked. So we get in, and they're talking about, like, like, seat me properly today, and they get into, like, an argument, and she walks away to fill up tea, or I'm filling tea, and she walks away into the service station, and the hostess follows her in, and, like, backs her into a corner, and I'm, like, walking out, like, holding these teas like this, trying to, like, separate them, and, like, one's trying to, like, throw fists over the top of my shoulder. I'm, like, and Leroy's, like, freaking out. It was a miserable thing. But then, like, next day, nothing was wrong.
No,
It's one for the books.
that's what's great about it. Nothing really matters. It's just another day.
You're just there. I'm just here to make money and leave.
Yeah.
It's
But I love you guys too.
but at the same time, you had your cliques. It's like high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had your cliques and people you would invite out and people you wouldn't invite out and hope would just go home early. It's a good time. Good time. So I heard you talk about, obviously, you looked at, like, working at a fishing shop.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your retirement plan?
Maybe retirement plan.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to jump into my escape activity as a paycheck activity.
It's very true.
Because that would then make my escape time work for somebody, and I would lose my ability to just disappear in it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what bartending. I think I know you say, like, oh, I'm lazy, but I feel like bartending has allowed you to live that life for so long. And maybe that's why you stayed. Like, it gave you that availability on a Thursday when nobody else was fishing in the river at noon. You know what I mean? So, like,
there's some truth to that.
It gave you some opportunities that maybe obviously a corporate job doesn't give you.
Yeah.
So that might be some reason why.
The ability to leave it all there. You can show up, you can work, you do whatever. As soon as you clean up and leave, lock the doors, it's done. I don't have to think about it ever again. The one time I was, like, manager of a place, it never stopped.
Yeah.
Like, I'd close up and be done. I'd leave out of there by the time the stocked and money and things and whatever's all done. Of course, sampling some of the, luscious delights in the dark when nobody's around and just sitting there and enjoying the quiet for an hour and then stumbling home at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. and then the 2 owners aren't answering their phone. There's an issue in the kitchen and they're calling me at 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, I just went to bed 3 hours ago and you're called. There's people that own the place that you could call. Why are you calling me?
Yeah.
Because I was the only one that would answer the phone. So it never stopped. I was ecstatic about going to a place where I was just a bartender and show up and just tell bad jokes, make a half a smile, crack a beer and walk away.
Yeah.
It was an eye-opening experience that I enjoyed, but unless it's my name out front, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I feel that. It's funny because you're, like, talking about, like, telling a bad joke, cracking a half smile. But so when we worked,
that's literally what I do.
Yeah. But when we worked at Dempsey's, there was, like, kind of like it wasn't like a review. It was like a guy that came in and, like,
secret shoppers.
Yeah, secret shoppers. So he came in, judged our performance, judged, like, our area and stuff like that. And it was the same guy. I don't know why they decided to send the same guy over and over again. Once I figured out it was the same guy, I remember we would go up and just greet him by his first name, and we would get so cocky behind the bar. And, like, I would tell you, like, are you drinking a tequila sunrise this time? Like, no triple sec? All right. Like, I mean, we just knew exactly what he would drink when he came in. It was really funny. And so me and Jim got him the same day. Like, we would get a $100 gift card if we got 100%. And supposedly 100%'s never happened. But once we knew who the guy was, it was like,
stop sending him.
it was like no more bad jokes, full smile. We would go up, give him exactly what he wanted, be in and out in 5 minutes. And he always tell the same story. He was waiting for his son to get his, like, he was at the store, he just got his ticket, he's going to save his spot for him, but he never came and sat down. And dude, it was like a headache. But I remember just, like, always having to, like, put on. And I feel
That's all it is. It's all show.
I didn't get enough of, like, the like Fells Point. I got a lot more corporate bartending experience, and it was kind of like overworked. It was kind of like working for a corporate job versus working for, like, a family business.
Well, and the only reason I stayed as long as I did at Dempsey's was because that first year or two working there, you'd work 10 or 12 days in a row, and you're walking with $500-$600 a day.
Yeah.
And it's just buckets of money that was real easy. And it's not like you're in some hoity-toity place. You're cracking Miller Lights and Bud Lights and making vodka cranberries or Tito's and vodka. And it was just simple. Yeah. It was easy money.
Times were easier when the money was good.
The one time I had a guy come in and ask for an old fashioned, I looked at him funny. I was like, where was the last place you had an old fashioned? Because you're asking for an old fashioned at a ballpark that you're going to get in a plastic cup. What is your level of expectation here with this $15 drink you're ready to order?
Yeah, and it was always expensive too. I love when people order like doubles. And I'm like, 1962.
Yeah.
That's how much it costs.
You still remember the price?
It was,
Got me beat. I just tell him $20. I don't know. It's like $20. I'll be right back with your change.
That's exactly. It's like frantic.
Yeah.
20? Okay, yeah.
Give
me $1. That was the best thing is we didn't have change though. Well, we had quarters, but it wasn't like big breakdowns. It was really easy to get in.
I just rounded up or down.
That's nightmares. Loved it, hated it.
I miss that shit, man. I miss it.
I don't miss Dempsey's.
I miss Dempsey's in the first 2 or 3 years of being there.
Yeah, I mean, I miss the people.
Yeah.
Right, like
even the crowd, like when it was crowded and busy, and it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like when we were like vibing and everything was like,
it was great. Yeah, dude. It was good. Yeah.
Because I remember like things were so fast. Like I remember just ripping receipt. My area would always be shitty. Like I would just take receipts. I wouldn't even throw them in the trash. I would just rip them off the printer and just throw them on the ground. So it would just be like a tornado on my side, and then Jim's side would be like crystal clean, like nothing. Right? And like we had a bucket. Well, we had a trophy. I always loved using the trophy, and then somebody took it away. I don't know why. But we had like a bucket.
Because we weren't allowed to have nice things. That's why.
Yeah, we really couldn't. We provided nice things, and we did our job well, but we got shit on, and that's the truth. And I think that's what drove us away. Yeah. We were starting to get criticized for doing things that were not meeting corporate standards, but had met corporate standards for years, and it wasn't meeting corporate standards because they weren't making the money that corporate wanted. But the thing was, you split your intake and customers or fans in half, and then you upped your prices all the time. You remember? I saw one of the after party people all like a couple months ago.
Oh wow!
And he completely ignored me. Act like he didn't know.
Heineken?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't want to say names just in case for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, fuck him. I don't even know. I don't even want to see it sound like a dick by saying this, but I really don't know his name. I think
I just know him as Heineken. That's all I know. I know drinks, visuals, and drinks. That's all I got.
And so I saw him and he didn't like say anything to me. I was like, he was so mad at me, I guess.
He probably had no idea who you were.
Probably.
That was one of the things I learned when the blues bar closed, because I had all these people that knew my name, all these people that I saw all the time. I couldn't go, and I used to walk up the street to the titty bar to have drinks because it was the only place in Fells Point that I could just go sit and be alone. Yeah. Like I didn't have to worry about chatting with anybody or talking to anybody, because anybody sitting in there ain't paying attention to me. And them girls in there knew enough to know I was the bartender down the street and just set me off the corner, give me a bunch of booze, and I'd just sit there and be quiet, and I'd just hold up $1 and let them walk by and take it. Like, I just wanted to sit there and be left alone, you know? And after a while, I got to know their baby daddy's names and their dog's names and their 6 kids' names. Like, I knew the backstory, so they weren't really... There was no allure to them anymore.
They're just people.
But when that blues bar closed, it was really strange to see people that I saw every week, sometimes multiple times a week, and I'd pass them on the street, and I would barely get a head nod. It's like, you used to spend your entire week hanging out with me, and now I get a nod as you're walking by. You know, like, it was, handshakes and hugs and come to the house and everything. And then it's like, and they keep right on going. I'm like, all right, man, cool, I get it. That was an interesting awakening to realize. I mean, like, I used to drive these people home. Yeah. There's people, I mean, I still talk to a couple of them, but I would be probably the most liquored up one in the bunch at the end of the night. And I'd be like, don't drive, man, I'll get you home. And I'd put them in the van, I'd take them home. Not the best idea for me, but that's what I used to do.
You know? Yeah. The bartending, I feel like, made me an adult. Like, because I got a bunch of eye openers I didn't see before. And I bar backed once before I bartended. And I saw things that I was like, I'm still a child. Like, I am, like, I mean, I'll say drugs. I mean, like, hard drugs, not like pot. Like, I've been to parties.
What hard drugs? Explain. I'm curious.
Oh, I've seen, like lines of Coke on the back of the toilet, like, constantly. And, like, that thing was, like, super eye-opening for me, because I was like, wait, like, you guys just do cocaine? Like, that's just a thing? I mean, like, Like people just do that on the right. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't think it was as like bold. And I was also like, young. I was only 19, 20. So when I started going out drinking and stuff like that, like that's when it got to like you saw it more regularly, I guess, as like an adult. But the bar opened my eyes up. It made me see what
you see a lot of things in that little world,
dude. It's insane.
It's part of the reason why I am the way I am. I'm sure.
I mean, you've been introduced to so many different things. That's honestly probably the reason why you fish a lot. Because it's
probably
doesn't involve all the dumb, crazy shit of the world, and you can just hang out and relax.
You don't have to give up your dollars at the titty bar.
Yeah, it's true.
I would sit there and I would play the snake game on my phone, and I would have my
Nokia.
Yeah, I would have. I think I had a Motorola something or other, but I had my little glass of Coke, and I had my little thing of whiskey, and the girl knew me because one of the regulars brought me up there, and I walked in, I got a handshake, and hey, this is my buddy, and hey, nice to meet you. What are you guys drinking? And I said, a week or two went by, I was like, that place wasn't too bad. I'll go back in there. So I went and said, girl looked at me, she remembered me, remembered my name. Whiskey? I'm like, yeah. She poured my whiskey. It got to the point where I would go there every Saturday on my lunch break because I would open at noon, 11, and I'd be there till 2 or 3 a.m. and I'd get a break when the second guy came in. So I would walk up there, and by the time I went from the front door to the bar, she had my whiskey, she had my water and my Coke, whatever I was drinking. She had it all sitting there ready for me. I'd hand her a $20 bill. She'd walk off the register. She'd come back. She'd hand me my change, and it was a 10 of 5 and 5 ones. I'd give her the 10, put the 5 in my pocket, and I would sit there and I'd play the snake game and just hand up. I'd see the shoes, and I'd just hand up $1, and she'd just take it, keep right on going. I didn't even look up. Like I didn't even care. Like it was, after a month or 3, you see them all. They're all the same. You start learning the stories. That's when it started to get fun, when you learn some of the backstories. Like then it became the psychological, like personal interaction, like learn why and how people end up where they end up and what they do, which to me was kind of one of the only other jobs I wanted to do, was some kind of psychiatry or psychiatrist or something, where like sit in a chair and listen to people just splather on and try and figure out what they do and why, and picking apart those things.
I don't know if I could try to figure out other people, because I can barely figure out myself.
It's easier for other people.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
That's why you're so good at giving advice. You got me down to
and
the
that's
T.
why I'm completely screwed for myself, because I can help other people, but I can't do nothing for me.
This is very true. I don't think you're screwed. I think
you
lived a
bunch of
nice, lavish life in the city. Enjoyed every moment of it.
It's an interesting way to word that.
Hey, every time I've sat down at the bar, either next to you or in front of you, it's been pretty, I'll say, lavish. Drank good beer, good tequila. Like people like. So I haven't seen Jim since that time at Fells. And it's been right before COVID. Like, COVID just started. So I remember, like, you walked in, I went to shake your hand. Like, should we shake hands? Like, is this thing weird now? And we shook hands.
Are we at my house?
No, at Daily Grind.
Oh, yeah.
That was right when it started.
That was the first time I met you as well.
Because the reason I know this is because we worked all day, right? And then a bar down.
We were working there.
Yeah, we were working there. Because they had Wi-Fi. I used to do it all the time. I love that place because they'll let you sit there for 6 hours.
As long as you buy something and
I
hang
bought a
out,
coffee
don't
and
cost
I
it.
just sat there. You know what I mean? So we worked because we went to Tier Point 2. And then we went afterwards, after work, we went to Lee's Pint in Canton. Because, as a joke, they were doing 50-cent Coronas. And I was like, you know what? Let's go up there.
Yeah, it sounds like a...
So we went up there. We got 2 subs, or 2 wraps. We got a dozen oysters for 50 cents an oyster and 6 beers for 50 cents a beer. And we ended up paying like $26.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, it's
not a bad deal.
It's funny, right? But now, like, COVID's like really scary. So now it's not that funny because we just sat at a bar and ate oysters.
I think it's funnier because you did it.
Yeah.
And that place had a case.
That place had a case. They shut down.
Oh, yeah. The whole Canton, like half the places in Canton had something.
Multiple times. Like, they shut down, reopen, shut down. Shit, I lost my train of thought. So we FaceTimed once. And I was going to get down with the one shot, one beer reference. And that's how I was saying living lavish. And people don't understand. Like, you go out to a bar, and I feel like me and Jesse, we go out to a bar, we have an agenda, right? Like, the reason we're going out to bars, we're going to with a plan in our minds. Like, we didn't drive there. We know what's happening. We know the outcome of the night and the next morning. We already know what's happening. But we would go out to the bar, you and me, or if I would come to a bar while you were working, it would be like, hey, I'm going to stop up for a 1-and-1, one beer, one shot, a 1-and-1. I'd get
It's
there.
usually more like 3 and 3, and you kind of learn that after a while.
And 3 and 3 becomes 5 and 5, and then it's like Jim can stay on your couch. And it's more often than not, that's how it goes. And that's why that's what I call lavish. What's lavish is you and me walking into a bar, knowing the bartender, and instead of saying, what would you guys like to drink? They're already like holding 2 up in the air and like almost twisting a top off, waiting for us to say no. Like, you know what I mean? Waiting for us to just like scream, no, we want something else, because they know that's not going to happen. And they sit that down, then they would, same thing, 2 shot glasses and start reaching for the tequila, like, do you want me to grab this? And then they're just waiting for a no. But that was never,
They always
that
knew
never
better.
happened. And they put the bottle there and we'd pour, and then every time we'd like put money out under the shot glass. And then if another shot, more money under the shot glass, another shot, more money under the shot glass. It would just stay there. And then at the end of the night, she'd be like, oh.
God, you have better stories and better memories than I do. I don't remember any of that.
Well, after you do it, it's like a repetition. After you do it enough, it just kind of is all one.
I don't, yeah.
That's what you think happened.
That's what I think happened. Now, I mean, I remember one of my, I say this because it's funny. One of my favorite stories about spirits is when I would bartend. Like, we've already gone over that. I don't like scary things. I don't like things I don't like the feeling of being scared. I don't know why, when I was bartending spirits one night, we decided to watch all the Halloweens.
Oh, yeah. That's
Right?
a great thing to do.
They're not that scary.
In a joint that used to be a mortuary. You know, that's a great thing to do.
We had no customers, right? Nothing. Pitch, and it was winter. I mean, no, it was Halloween. It was like right around Halloween. And it was like fall weather, kind of cool outside. I remember having to go down and get beer to stock it. And like going down, okay, so first of all, the stairs were like instant.
With all these stories, you have to bring him down there at some point and show him this place.
Like we will go to spirits like soon, because I thought they weren't open. That's why I wouldn't even.
No, they're back.
Nice. So their stairs like are just like wood, and they're like wood, and then they're like the first landing is like a piece of plywood. Super sketchy.
Yeah, it's a piece of plywood that's on 2 loose cinder blocks.
I used to.
It's not even bolted. It's not even part of the floor. It's just 2 cinder blocks, because otherwise it was like a 25-inch drop to the first step.
I would step all the way up. I would always skip the platform. I would literally just lunge up to the top because I didn't trust it.
Oh, it was good.
But downstairs they had a fridge with all the beer, and it was like a big, but it's all the way in the back, and it was like it wasn't concrete floor. Was it concrete floor? Maybe it was just a bunch of dirt.
It was concrete floor, and the drop way where they drop the kegs down.
Yeah,
they put like
sandbags.
It was basically sandbags, but it wasn't just straight up sand. It was like gravel or kitty litter or something. Like it was something. It was
they
like
busted open,
kitty litter-esque, but it was, I guess, stone or pebble or something like that. So they would drop these, half kegs down a 6-foot basement hole when it hit, and if you're down there, it thuds pretty good. But yeah, it was dirty down there.
It was dingy as shit. And he set it up to be like a haunted house like 6 years ago and never took it down. So there was like baby dolls and like cut off heads and a guillotine or electric chair.
So you watch these movies,
all these
had to restock beer,
and I had to run out there and get beer, and I was
out.
like, God damn it! So that's like, because they close at 1. It was like 12:30, and these 2 cars come zooming up the up Wolf, right, and it's a one-way going down. Stop right out front of Spirits. Everybody gets out, like looking at me. I'm like, fuck, we're about to get robbed. Like, it's just me and Shannon in the bar. I'm like, dude, we're about to get robbed. Like, they're coming the wrong way. 8 people hop out of these cars. And literally, they all start laughing, like dancing or something, hop back in the car and drive off. I'm like, nope, we're closing up. 12:30, lock the doors, blinds come down. I'm like, I've seen this movie a time or 2. That's not happening.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was
that place.
Well, anyways, it's been
fun.
about an hour.
Really?
Yeah, we've been talking.
Damn. I got one more question for you. Just because I want to say, because I don't think I've ever asked you this.
I was curious as to how long your itinerary was.
No, this is like, I mean, the itinerary can go on and on. So, but
never ending. Good.
Not everything's on the itinerary. The itinerary is delicately outlined by the Shannon Dwyer.
The girls' room.
Where did you get your love of fishing? How'd you get into fishing? Because like I know your backstory, and none of that includes fishing, so I don't know where you got it from.
Growing up, there was a pond at the top of my street, so that was my first like, okay, I'm going to go to the pond, and I spent pretty much all day, every day up there crawling around this pond, turtles and snakes and critters and whatever. Grandfather was closest thing I had to a, day-to-day father. He would take me out and we would go to the little state park there and we would catch bluegill and, catfish or whatever it was. When it got to teenage years, like early double digits, just before teenage years, then I started to kind of withdraw from all that kind of stuff, I guess. Made a bunch of friends that still went out and spent a bunch of time in the woods, but we were, miscreants doing miscreant things. And there wasn't a whole lot of fishing and all that kind of stuff involved. That was always there, but never really, that kind of just died off. As far as a day-to-day thing. Flashing forward a bunch of years, DUI got me to break my little routine, and I was hanging out with Buddy, who was a ultra marathon runner, same one with the ticket thing at the Bertucci's place. And he would go train for his ultra marathons, so he'd go run the trails at Gunpowder. Well, I then just started walking around these Gunpowder trails, just looking at junk in the water. Then I was like, well, I'll get a little fishing rod and I'll start playing with these little fish. And then next thing you know, it went to another fishing rod, and then it went to, I'm going to try a fly rod and see what that's like, because I've never used one of those before. So I found one at the Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that for like $100 for the whole package deal. Got that, ended up going out there with that for a time or two and took a liking to that. Next thing you know, I spent a small fortune on a lot of fly fishing gear and junk. So that's something I've always had as a kid. Like I said, in third grade, the job of choice was an entomologist, and the teacher that when it was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it was a lawyer and a nurse and a doctor and a fireman and an army guy and whatever. And I raised my hand and said an entomologist, and she's like, what is that? I'm like, what do you mean?
Same response I just gave you.
But I was in third grade, and I said, it's a bug doctor, and she's like, oh, and she just kind of went on. The guy that lived up the street apparently was some kind of scientist. So I got a bit of information from, that guy, but one of the few memories I have of my father is like fond memories. He built me this like maybe 2x2 cedar box that had a double layer like cork bottom, so I could catch all these bugs and pin them and save them and put the names and all that jazz. And I was like, I had to have been first grade, like young, first, second grade, because by third grade he was, health issues, but by that time he was already kind of, immobile. But yeah, that's one of the few memories I have. So like, I've always had that like outside critters kind of nature thing.
I think this is one thing I just don't know about you. Like, I didn't know that it started that early. Like,
I was young, like young, like walking to school and, elementary school and picking up critters and, taking them into class with me. The first time those 17-year cicadas came out, God, I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I was picking them up all over the place and just throwing them in school. I thought it was hilarious. It made my day. No, that's always been there. Even when I was young, like young.
Awesome. Sick, man. Well, thanks for coming on. As I said, I think you've given me a lot of advice. Career path, life. Take maybe half of it. Yeah, well, shit's already in play right now, Jim. You can't say that now. You think, I think back on just meeting you, super timid, because you were like, me? The big bad bartender? No, I was timid. You have a whole different outlook on me than I do. Well, now I don't. Now it took a lot of warming up. So, just like it took a lot to get you on the podcast. I think you asked and I said yes. That's very true. Might have been some coffee talks. There might have been, I don't know. Might have been some stuff. Honestly, Jim would have probably done it no matter what. So. You asked me, I'll do it. It's very true. Anything else you want to talk about? I don't know. I was leaving up to you with the questions. Yeah. I told you I feel a little out of place with this thing in front of me and this stuff. This episode's all about you. So I'm here for you. Here in support, moral support. I'm here for you. Yeah. If you take anything from this, Jim's here for us. Thanks. He's here for you too. Yeah. Just give him a call. I'll take you out fly fishing. Or the bar, whatever you prefer. Oh. Both? Or both. Yeah. Start out with fishing, then get some snacks, and then we'll go to the bar. Yeah. No, we'll make I'm not a practice now, so I can't hang with the 3 and 3 and 5 and 5 and 7 and 7 anymore. True. 3 months ago you did. I think we're all out of practice. Because I was in my own house, and once I hit end on that phone call, nobody saw what happened after that. That's very true. Well, somebody did see what happened after that. Unfortunately, Shan saw it. And she was like, "What happened? I didn't think you had that much drink." I'm like, well, yeah, I was hiding the bottle of tequila we were drinking out of. So
That did turn into a long
I remember
conversation.
sitting there and I was like, well, I got 2 beers left. I'm good. And I remember walking downstairs and they're like, you want to do a shot? I'm like, yeah, I can do a shot. So I get on and get a bottle of tequila. I'm pouring a shot of tequila. And I like look in the fridge. There's like 7 more beers. I'm like,
Cool.
drink another beer? Like that half an hour FaceTime turned into like a 3-hour FaceTime.
It was probably pretty close to that.
Yeah, it was good. Not a lot to talk about. I haven't seen each other in a while. That's how it goes.
You're one of the few I do miss.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
Jim.
ended on that.
Yeah, Jim. Thanks for coming in, dude. It's
I appreciate
thank
you having
you.
me.
it has been fun. We'll have to do. We can probably get one at Spirits, but an episode at Spirits maybe that might let us come in.
I don't
Quiet
see why
place.
I wouldn't.
We'll see.
I don't
No
know.
promises.
I don't know.
Ryan? No,
Yeah,
Ryan's good people.
So you might know.
Yeah, Ryan's
know
good
better
people.
than me. Well, sick.
Cool. Adios.
Adios.
Good night.
That's the
Au revoir.
smoke.
I don't know the French one.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.